Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Audacity Show Wednesdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with me, Stephanie Young. It is an honor that you choose to be here with me on Wednesdays, which is potentially your lunchtime or the start of your day. So, thank you for being here with me. Today, we are going to talk about some fresh ways to kickstart your decluttering journey. And I am thrilled to be talking about these tips with you today. If you are new here and you've never met me, I again am Stephanie Young, and I support humans who are ready for success to lessen the overwhelm in their life so that they can make their dreams reality. I do this with my audacious decluttering programs and my strategy and coaching programs as well. So if that is something that you were like, oh my word, I didn't know that was a thing, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you are watching with me live, I would love to know where you're watching from and what you've had for breakfast or lunch today, because depending on your time zone, you've potentially had one of those meals. And if you are watching on the replay, I'd love to know what your favorite breakfast food item is. And if you're with me live, you can tell me that too, because frankly, breakfast food is one of my favorite things. And as my 3-year-old Owen is learning, breakfast solves most problems. And I say that because he decided to play hooky on Monday with me and skip daycare to be home with me and my husband. And we ended up having lunch or breakfast with my friend Beth. And he was like, "Yes, mommy, I want to have breakfast with your friend." And I said, "Well, buddy, let's go have breakfast. We can skip school and hang out today because breakfast cures everything." And he went, "Okay." And so that's always a great lesson to learn. My most favorite in the world breakfast item is French toast. I could eat French toast every day. So I would love to know what your favorite breakfast item is. Again, thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your very important time on Wednesday here with me at the Audacity Show. I'm really thrilled that you're here, and it's truly an honor. Today, we are talking about fresh ways to kickstart your decluttering journey, because here at the Audacity Show, we are all about you living your best life, taking your dreams and making it reality. And often taking your dreams and making it reality means that you need to be a bit willing to take some pretty big risks. So, we are diving into decluttering, and we have been all of the month of July. So if you found any of these videos not in the month of July, that's what we've been talking about this whole past month. We've been talking about decluttering because often clutter, either mental or visual clutter, holds us back from living the life we really truly want. And so we're going to talk about some tips to help us get started on our decluttering journeys and help us eliminate some of that clutter. Now, you might be going, oh my gosh, clutter is so frustrating. I need a tip. So, tip number 1 is to create specific rules for what you're keeping and why. And a lot of people are going to go, oh my gosh, like that sounds so boring. I get it. I totally get it. Creating rules like this can be boring. Oh my gosh, hi, Beth. Literally, guys, Beth is here, the Beth that we had breakfast with. Hi, Beth. It can be really boring to think about creating rules around your decluttering journey, but it is super important, because if you don't have rules, it can make it very difficult to actually declutter. So you want to think about things like how many of certain items you want to keep. So if you're decluttering a kitchen, you want to think about how many kitchen tools you want to keep, how many place settings are sufficient for your household. You want to think about things like how many duplicates of canned items do you want in your house. For example, if you have a larger family, it might make sense to have multiple cans of green beans on hand if your family eats a lot of green beans. But if you are a family of 2 or a family of 1, and yes, one single person is still a family, you might not need a Costco size box of 12 cans of green beans if you don't even use more than 1 can of green beans in a month. Now, I understand that those cans might not expire in the course of a year. Canned goods can last a while, but if your space is not available to host a huge like stockpile of items, keeping that many things might not make sense. So, creating specific rules about what you're keeping and why is very vital and helpful in helping you with your decluttering journey because it allows you to have parameters. And when we have parameters and guidelines, it really can be beneficial. A really good example of this. So when you go to like the pool with your kids or even by yourself, there's usually some kind of break time at a community pool. They do it at least every hour. Sometimes it's at the top of the hour, sometimes it's at the end of the hour, but there's always a break time. And it kind of allows the kids the chance to get out of the pool. The lifeguards change out at that time, and it gives the parents or the people who don't have children time to be in the pool by themselves. And it's just kind of nice. I've often seen the lifeguards like testing the water to make sure it's okay. And so the guidelines of the pool are that there is a break time and that it's to be observed by all of the kids under a certain age during that time. And those parameters help all of the pool goers to know these are the rules and this is like why we're going to follow them. So if you create a specific set of parameters for yourself when you're decluttering, that helps you know what you're following and why. Another reason to create that set of rules is and to also know why you're decluttering things and why you're keeping them is so that you really truly are more connected with your items. So, for example, if you are a huge baking fanatic, let's say you love to bake and you bake for people's birthdays, you bake for every major holiday, you bake as like your gifts for Christmas, baking is your jam. It makes sense to keep a majority of the baking tools and baking pans and baking things that you have because they are in greater use in your life. I'm going to grab water because I'm getting excited. But if you are not an avid baker, you don't even like to do it, it might not make sense to keep like a springform pan because you've never made a cheesecake and you don't ever intend to, you prefer to buy it. It might not make sense to keep 4 different sizes of muffin tins because you don't ever make muffins. It might not make sense to keep 5 cookie sheets because you don't really ever make cookies, but 1 baking sheet is sufficient. And so when you can sit down and make these guidelines for yourself to say, well, this is what I truly need in my kitchen, it really helps you say, this is what I need, and so this is what I'll keep. So that is one of my first and most helpful tips for helping you be on a decluttering journey is to set yourself some specific rules and guidelines for what you're going to keep and why. And this works in every arena of your house and in every area of decluttering. Your kitchen, your bathroom, your bedroom, your closet, your kids' toys, pet stuff, everything. Tip number 2, another fresh and exciting way to help you kickstart your decluttering journey is to start with a small area. Now, if you look up tips for how to declutter, you're going to see this tip a lot. So technically it's not a fresh way, but I'm going to take it a little step further and say start with a micro small area at a time. I'm not going to say like just start with your kitchen because that is a big area. But if you were going to say like, oh, I'm going to start with just my junk drawer. If you open your junk drawer and that is overwhelming because even that can be overwhelming. Even doing one small area can feel overwhelming. As someone with ADHD and anxiety, like it can be very overwhelming to even be in a small area. Start with a micro small area. Open your junk drawer and take 5 things out. And say, of these 5 things, which one can I let go of? Which one do I need to keep? Which one can be donated? And the last 2 you can determine keep, donate, trash, etc. Or does not even need to be in this drawer. Like is something in your junk drawer something that really needs to be in your bathroom? Is this something that needs to be like, do you just throw all of your like screwdrivers in your junk drawer because you're like, oh, I'll get to it later? Maybe the tools that are hiding out in your junk drawer needed to be in your garage or a tool shed. but you can pull those out in your 5 little micro areas, like 5 small things from the junk drawer. So it's not just about starting with a small area, but even breaking that area down even smaller and doing like a micro small area. So if you get overwhelmed, break it down even smaller. Another really great example, and I love doing this with my clients, is to like when we're in their closet. Closets are typically huge in America, and it can be super crazy, not fun, and very daunting to go, let's declutter a closet. You're kind of like, where do I start? It can be very, very not fun to say, let's declutter a closet. But if you were to say, I'm going to do a micro small area of my closet, I'm going to just do my socks. And so you gather all your socks together because that's a small, like it's a micro area of your closet. And you're going to say, I'm going to just match all my socks. And so you can match all your socks. And if all of your socks are clean, that makes this even easier. So you match all your socks. Any socks that don't have a match at all can leave the house. Now, you can always find a way to repurpose a sock, but if you're a person who doesn't actually repurpose the things, get rid of them. So you match all your socks and you can say, oh, these are the pairs that I wear all the time and I love them and they're constantly in use. And then these are the pairs that like never ever really get worn and they need to leave my house. So that is a micro small area of the closet that can help you get started on even doing the rest of your closet. So tip number 2 is to start with a small area, which could be the closet instead of the whole house, and then break it down even further into a micro small area by saying just the socks, just the underwear, just the shoes, just the jewelry. Pick a very, very small area, and you could even break it down further in your jewelry and say just the earrings, just the bracelet. Pick it and make that step as small as you need to so that one small step can become the next small step and the next and the next. Because every small step that you take is victory. And every victory should be celebrated. Tip number 3, another fresh way to kickstart your decluttering journey is to get rid of something every single day until your home is decluttered. Now, I know people who love doing it this way. I have because, and I don't know if this is like a side effect of my ADHD that I get really excited and I just keep going, or if it's just like second nature now, but I have a hard time personally doing only one thing a day. I typically get started and I just like the ball gets rolling and it snowballs, and next thing I know, I have 3 boxes of stuff to donate. But you could always say, I simply want to do one thing every single day until my entire home is decluttered. That is a great, small, easy way to kickstart your decluttering journey. And at the end of the year, if you did one thing every single day, that would be 365 items that you're not using, you're not loving, you're not finding any joy of, that aren't useful to you, they're not serving you. It's a whole myriad of things, great reasons to declutter, but you're getting rid of things that aren't like just don't really need to be messing with your visual line or that are taking up space mentally, but getting rid of something every day until your home is decluttered. And I'll tell you, if you wanted to do a like mental declutter and get rid of something like on your to-do list once a day for 30 days and get rid of something 30 somethings in a month, how refreshing would that be? Instead of saying 365 things are going to leave my house, you could say 335 physical things are going to leave my house and 30 things are going to leave my to-do list. Like, what a joy would that be? And so you can choose to say, I'm going to get rid of something every single day until my entire home is decluttered. Again, it's a personal preference to say, I want to just do one thing a day, or I want to do like 30 things in a month, but I'm going to do all of those 30 things in one single day. You can kind of break it down however you want. That's the beauty of your journey, is that it can be completely tailored to you. But a fresh way to kickstart your journey, if doing the whole house feels overwhelming, is to just do one thing every single day. picking one thing. Like if you're in your bathroom and you're doing your makeup, you can pull one makeup item out of your makeup that you don't really use anymore and declutter that one single item. If you are in your pantry and you recognize that there's something in there that you're really not using and you never will, like you were like, "Ooh, I found this really cool sauce that I want to try." And maybe it's expired and so it just needs to be thrown away, or like deep down you're like, "Ugh, I'm never actually going to use this. What was I thinking?" Guilty. You could let go of that one thing. You can keep it super duper simple. So those are 3 tips, and I could have added so much more, but it's really in an effort to not overwhelm. I only want to share 3, at max 5 things ever. But I wanted to share those 3 tips to help you kickstart your decluttering journey. Another way that you can kickstart your decluttering journey is to work with a professional. Now, if you're like, I don't really think I need a professional's help, that's fine. You can keep doing your decluttering on your own. I get it. It can be easy to not want to invite anyone into your space to see your space or to see your clutter. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start, even with these tips, I still feel like I could use an extra set of eyes, and you would like some decluttering support right now, I would love to talk to you about what personalized support can look like in your life and in your journey to lessen the overwhelm of visual and mental stress in your life so that you can make your dreams reality and you can lessen that burden of the visual clutter and the mental clutter that sometimes surrounds our incredibly busy lives. So if you need decluttering support right now, you can literally just drop a declutter me stuff in the comments below and I will connect with you and we could talk about what that personalized support looks like. And I literally just swallowed a gnat. The joy of your home office being surrounded by plants. I know you guys can't see them. Here, let me hide this real quick. Being surrounded by plants is that occasionally there are gnats, and then you might inhale one while you're talking live in your on Facebook. You're welcome for anyone who watches this replay and needed to laugh. Anyway, oh my goodness, that was a joy. I hope I never swallow a gnat again. Anyway, so if you need decluttering support and you want to talk about what a personalized journey can look like if you work with somebody one-on-one, I'd love to talk with you about that. You can literally just drop a declutter me stuff below and we will start that conversation. I also have, and I'm really pumped about this, a declutter boot camp that's happening this Saturday, July 30th. You can get signed up today and you can join me this weekend. We're starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time and we're going to go, wait, it might have been noon. Y'all, it's been a day. I'm a little discombobulated. I just swallowed a gnat. We might be, we're starting at noon. We're starting at noon Eastern and going till 6 Eastern. It is a 6-hour boot camp where we're going to declutter 3 typical problem areas in our home. We're going to rock and roll together. This boot camp is happening Saturday, July 30th. You can get signed up today and you're not going to miss out on any of the fun. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I already have stuff going on the 30th and I wish I could join, but I'm not going to be able to. Don't worry, we'll have another boot camp in the future. You haven't missed out. But if you are watching this on the replay, not in the middle of July, and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to join a boot camp, you can always comment boot camp, and I will get you info for our upcoming boot camp, the one that's coming later in the fall, and we will get you rocking and rolling on that. Again, I am just so grateful that you choose to spend some of your time on Wednesday with me here on the Audacity Show. It is an absolute joy to bring you guys fresh, wonderful topics as we talk about how to make our dream life reality and how to lessen our overwhelm so that we can have more success and less stress. Again, I'm Stephanie Young. I am a life strategist and coach, and I am a huge decluttering enthusiast. And I will see you next Wednesday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, where we are going to talk about facing our fears and pursuing our dreams. And I cannot wait to share all of the things that I've been learning and researching about what it looks like when we do face our fears and how that ties into pursuing our dreams. Again, if you have been looking for any decluttering support in your life right now, I would be more than honored to be the person that can help you with that journey. Again, just drop a declutter me stuff below and I will start that conversation with you. Until next week at noon, have an absolutely amazing week and I will chat with you when we talk about our fears. Bye, guys.